Hi, everyone. So, is there such a thing as gun culture? Why not? Right? You know, this was a conversation online. It's still ongoing, but I wanted to put some of my thoughts in the video. Every interest develops some kind of a culture around it, and the culture itself is not one singular thing, right? It'll vary between, sub communities within that culture. So, for instance, in the sake of guns, you have people who are just purely into hunting. You have people who are purely into survival, target shooting, sports, sports shooting. People who just like to collect, and you have people who are just like two-way enthusiasts and the engaged patriots, which I talked about in the gun show videos. So the gun culture itself, it does exist. It varies. You have people who are very secretive about what they have as far as guns go, and you have people who like to show them off. Uh, you know, it's as varied as people are. From an outsider perspective, as I came into being exposed to gun culture, honestly, my impressions is that it got extremely juvenile at times. With some of the modifications that they would put on the guns, it just seemed silly, or the color coordination, which was just kind of odd. It was kind of on the level of, someone matching a bag with a pair of shoes and a hat. Just, I don't know, it just seemed kind of odd. I just didn't really think that was a thing in gun culture. Even with like the back plate on like a Glock, people would change that out and it would say asinine things, or it would have asinine imagery, like boobs, I mean, there's nothing wrong with boobs, but it's like, that's what you need on your pistol. It's a pair of boobs. So when you're shooting, you have a picture of boobs. And I think like a really amusing, now that we're on the topic of just like weird things you find in gun culture, when you see like the thin blue line, like the police police supporting imagery mixed with Punisher, the Marvel vigilante character. When you see those two mixed together, that's really funny because Punisher hates cops. So that's just an amusing thing about it. But in regards to like other things I noticed in the culture on like Facebook groups, the liberal gun groups, everyone was pretty helpful and supportive of any questions you ask, while on the other gun groups, they just made fun of you and trolled you the whole time. I even got cyberbullied once. Someone actually went to even though my question to this group was honest and innocent and respectful and just, hey, I want to be safe here. They felt the need to go to my profile and to like out me as a liberal, and I was just kind of like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Nothing about that has anything to do with my post. Incidentally, the moderators for the group stepped in, slapped that person really hard, and put a lock on all the comments. So, is there a gun culture? Yeah. Some of it's perfectly, as far as I'm concerned, perfectly acceptable, perfectly expected in good ways. And then some of it's expected in bad ways. I'm still learning as a gun owner what the best things to do are. For example, through the course of the year of me being involved, of being a gun owner and going to the range regularly, I learned about the laws in Jersey and how you should transport things. Even though I always kept things like in my trunk, I didn't realize you had to keep everything in separate containers and locked in separate containers. And when I learned about that, it freaked me out, because had I ever gotten pulled over and that became an issue, that could have been a big deal. But I transport things safely now, and I'm still learning all the ins and the outs of being a gun owner. You try to do your best in the very beginning, but, sometimes you don't understand. I know a person who wants to get a concealed carry, but they didn't realize even though Jersey does offer a concealed carry permit, they don't realize all the things that went along with it. For example, it's always on your person. You can never put it in a bag. You can never put it in your glove box. It always has to be on your person because that's where your permit is making it legal. It's on your person. It's hidden on your person. But then the problem with that, which this individual didn't realize, is that you can't bring your gun everywhere you go. So what do you do with it? You can't always carry it with you because you can't take it to a certain store or to a public event, for example. You just can't. And that's the right thing to do. And let's talk about the gun culture thing, is that in regards to those types of scenarios where you can and can't carry, there are people who will say it's called concealed carry for a reason, implying who gives a fuck, no one's supposed to know you have it, which is just, what the fuck is wrong with you? Anyway. So is there a gun culture? Yeah. Any interest has a culture. And we see the good and the bad of it all the time.